before we want to get to the discussion with the audience, but I wonder, because I think in a number of ways different speakers have pointed to this problem of, being at a fire and seeing the blaze, and everybody's off playing soccer, and you kind of can't get them to come back and throw water on it. That was sort of a theme. I would like to maybe ask the panelists if they want to reflect on how we can address this problem. Is it a communication message problem? Is it an deep ideological problem? Is it that Jonathan says, it can't happen here. We believe it can't happen here, and it's just too difficult to get people to think about something like this happening here? Is it a problem of complexity? Because I have to say, listening to you, Jonathan, in your last comments, I still don't quite understand when you say forensic evidence, whether you're talking about polls or something else. It's a complicated story to discuss with people, right?
Part of it is.
Part of it is.
Part of it is, yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
hear you. And indeed, some of it's highly technical. My technical sophistication is nil. I always turn to Jonathan to help me understand these things. But that is not the problem. And for a long time, I thought it was primarily psychological denial. And I think that plays a role in it. That people don't want to believe that that kind of thing can happen here. But I no longer think that it's only that. Let me give you an example of a story that would interest anybody, and that is not hard to explain. And it has to do with the theft of the election in Ohio in 2004 through a kind of computer architecture called man-in-the-middle, which criminals use, essentially shunting the data from a closed computer system to an outside computer where you can manipulate that data or slow it down or something like that. The guy who was in charge of that for Karl Rove in the 2004 election was a guy named Mike Connell, C-O-N-N-E-L-L. And you can all Google him. He was introduced to Bush Jr. by Bush Sr. in 1999 as a kind of IT guru, a whiz. Very, very right-wing. He was Karl Rove's IT guru from the 2000 election on. His fingerprints are all over these other stolen elections. I think his fingerprints are on the Alabama gubernatorial election in 2002. Some of you may have heard the name Don Siegelman. And Siegelman, who was robbed of his re-election and then imprisoned on a trumped-up charge of bribery, although there was no bribe paid, and is still fighting with the Bush/Obama Justice Department over this thing, has talked quite openly about what happened to him electorally. One of the few.
Did you say he was governor of Alabama?
He was governor of Alabama,
yeah,
sorry.
Say that.
And he's kind of a marked man. He's one of the few establishment figures who's talked about this. Anyway, Connell's fingerprints are on that. Connell's fingerprints are on the Max Cleland defeat in Georgia. In fact, he had got the job of designing Saxby Chambliss's Senate website after Chambliss stole the election in Georgia in 2002. At any rate, Connell was a very, very capable guy with a lot of clients, including groups dedicated to the elimination of the separation of church and state, radical anti-abortion groups, and indeed his own motive for helping Bush Cheney steal elections was, and these are his words, to save the babies. Okay, so this is a guy who's coming out of way right field and wanted Team Bush to dedicate themselves to banning abortion. Well, they didn't. Correct me if any of this is wrong.
No,
Bob Fitrakis involved in, I'll explain. Are you with me so far?